hello. I seem to have some weird stuff going on with the camera. For me, it looks quite blurry, and I've already like wiped the lens and stuff. Let me know if it's like clear for you. Yay! You've made it live. Hello, hello. That's not too bad, I suppose. It just seems like a bit blurry to me, and I've like done the live thing like a couple times now, thinking it would adjust, but maybe it's fine. We shall see. So how is everyone? How are we getting on with the weaving? I've actually finished the basket part of mine, and then I will, why is it changing like that? I don't know what's going on tonight. Like I said, I've just cleaned the thing, you know? I've given it a scrub. I've checked the other camera. It'll be fine. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do some of the bouquet, basically the rest of the bouquet up here, because we're only going to use like 2 or 3 different stitches for that. So it's going to be so nice. We're going to start on the little, they kind of look like daisies. I chose this blue for mine. It's like a dusky kind of blue. Like that. And then we're going to do this one here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to add more, obviously you can add more. But that's what we're going to start with. And then we're going to add these little kind of wispy bits. We've got 5 of those here. And then we've also got some little leaves and some stems to do. I don't know why it's doing that. It was driving me crazy. Why is it changing between up close and far away? I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to get started. I'm going to do the flowers first. I've got 3 strands for this, and we're going to do the detached chain stitch for them. So we're going to come up from the back. Let's zoom right in and see if that might help it. I haven't changed anything from last night, and last night it seemed to be fine. So one can only assume that it's something that's happened. You're going to come down like that same hole and then come up at the very tip of whatever leaf you want to, whatever petal that you want to do. Or leaf. And you're just going to, I like to pull mine up like that. You don't want to pull them too hard or else they're going to end up being like straight up and straight down. And we also don't want to have a super long tacking stitch here. We're just putting our needle down on the other side of that thread. Okay? And then you're going to come back and do the same thing with all of your other petals and leaves, etc., etc. But obviously I'm going to show you how to do those as well. So I'm just going to put it down on the other side like that. These end up being super sweet little guys like that. I wonder if it might be like the light or something that was the lamp on. Maybe if I turn it off, it will stop going between. See how it looks like a bit hazy almost? I wonder what that's all about. We just go round and round. Again, I've only got 3 strands on here, and that's because it's quite like a delicate little section here. There's a lot of overlapping things. It's fine on your end. Okay, that's good. maybe it's just like the lighting in here or something, you know? But I would hate to go like the whole live and then be like, we can't see that. It's too blurry. So yeah, we kind of want to err on less strands for this section, only because we'll be able to put more details in. Now, if you don't like doing the lazy daisies, you could obviously do this with just straight stitches, okay? So literally filling them in with 1 or 2 straight stitches. You could do 4 strands or even 6 strands for most of these sections too. So if you don't like doing these for whatever reason, like I've got a friend who hates woven wagon wheels. I don't know why, but she just absolutely hates them. Woo, that's a long one. Do you see what I mean? If you put it just on the other side of that thread, it's a tiny little stitch, but if it goes too far, just because of the angle that I'm at, it ends up being a long-tailed lazy daisy, which is fine, but it's not really what we're going after for this. You know what I mean? We want them to be little... What is happening right now? I think I've gone through my thread in some kind of way. Because it's like knotted around. We'll just take it off. We'll cut it off and try again. Lots of weird things happening tonight. But yeah, basically we just want to do it on the other side of that thread. You don't want to have a long-tailed lazy daisy here. That's what those are called if you were wondering. So all you need to do is just put them down just on the other side of that thread. Me, to just don't like them or can't get them right. See, some people, they just don't, and I don't know, for me it's the weaving. It's not that I don't like how it looks, it's that in patterns, like if I'm trying to get my work done and like I just want to do it, sometimes I will not put weaving in, only because it's a bit fiddly and you have to take your needle up and down and you have to make sure that you don't go through things, and it's like all just a bit like, oh, I just don't want to do it. Another one is a fishbone stitch for me. I love how it looks, but I hate going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It just seems like it takes forever. And then my third one is probably telling you all my secrets. Split stitch. And we are going to do split stitch on this. I think there's a time and place for split stitch, and I do like using it when it's finished, okay? But it takes for bloody ever to complete. Every single time. I'm like, oh, why did I do this? And then obviously the bullion knot, but I'm not going to ruin it for anyone else who might not make the same association as me, so I'm just going to leave it. I do find that people who can't do the lazy daisy, whether they don't like it or they just can't get them to look right, a lot of times it's because pulling it in a weird direction, okay? So you want to come up and then down and then up at the top again, and I like to pull it out like this, out, okay? But if you pull it up like this, straight up, it's gonna look weird, okay? Pull it out like that, and you want to stop right when it's kind of curved at the top. Trying to just see if I can get it a little bit closer without it going funny again. You just kind of want to pull it. The first kit my daughter gave me was 2 hummingbirds and a garden of roses. There were 27 woven roses in that garden. How much thread did you use? Because that's my second pet peeve about the woven wagon wheel roses, is that they take so much thread. So much thread. I just feel like that is unnecessary. think that's why I started doing the stem stitch around the outside, because you can kind of stop when your rose is full, and then the stem stitch covers up those spokes so that you don't have to continue and continue and continue. But saying that, like, do what you like. Do you know what I mean? Some people like those woven wagon wheel roses that are really kind of tall and like humped up. Mine tend to be off the fabric, obviously, because they have to be. But they tend to not be as kind of tall and full as they could be. So, something to think about, right? This is going to be my last one of this one, because you don't really need to see me do 4 of these. I don't even know why I've started this one. I'm just counting in. She later told me she doesn't like doing them, so she gave Mom a pattern with an abundance of them. Mel, twice, you go, girl. She's here. She made it. I do love it when people come to the lives. It makes it so fun to like have a chat and stuff. And it makes me feel like back when I first started these and there was COVID and everyone kind of was looking for something to do, and we would do the Stitchalongs and everyone would be able to come like on and off, you know what I mean? Because some people were still working from home and stuff like that. But I feel like it was such a, you know, I don't want to say a fun time because it was not that fun. Definitely not a fun time. But that part of it brought me a bit of joy when I was definitely freaking out sometimes, you know? Living in England, and then like obviously my family was in America, and then thinking like, is this gonna last forever? Is it gonna be what, you know? I feel like I've put too many of these on here in this section. I just need to add one more though, because it doesn't look right. So that'll be my last one. That fly from yesterday is still in here. Ew, get off. No, go away. It just landed on my embroidery. Oh my goodness. Get off. Go away. Okay. That's the last one there. And then obviously do the last flower. Okay, let's work on the next part. I'll post a pic in the group of my hoop that I did. I customized the hummingbird on them. Cute. Oh my gosh, it's underneath the backside. It's like I'm the fun new toy in this room. You know? The door's been open all day, so we could have flown out at any point in time. So I don't feel bad. Alright, and I'm thinking I'm going to use this one for these little guys, maybe? Wait. Go away. Or maybe this one. I kind of want to keep it bright and not so dark. But you know I like this one too. I'm going to do those two. Okay. So let's do these little guys here first. Oh my god. It's a battle, okay? It's a battle. Okay, so these are also going to be Lazy Daisies, but I'm also going to show you one, because obviously I've already shown you the Lazy Daisy ones, okay? I'm also going to show you one with just straight stitches so you can see how it's different, or how it looks different, because it will look different. So I'm going to do 3 strands for this one. Loving this gingham, girl. Me too. I'm going to do 3 strands again, okay? So obviously with the Lazy Daisy green foliage, these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what you're going to do is do a little back stitch from section to section to section, and then you're going to do a Lazy Daisy for each of the leaves, okay? But I'm going to show you how to do just like a straight stitch one. I'm not going to call it a satin stitch because it's really not. It's literally just some straight stitches. Okay. Is this anchor thread? No, it's DMC. I feel like they feel different, don't you? I feel like DMC and anchor threads feel different. Right. So just with a little straight stitch, you can kind of do 2 for each petal, or you can do 3, kind of 1 down the middle and maybe 1 to each side. I do feel like sometimes things like that can be really tedious. It's not that you like disliked it or that it wasn't fun. It was just like it was tedious. Does that make sense? Leslie says, yes, it was. To be honest, I didn't hate doing so many and I loved the finished product. I find that sometimes with even things that I've designed, I thought, why did I do this? Why did I make so many? Because, oh my goodness, why? It's not that you don't like it or that you don't like how it turned out, but it's like, gosh, that's tedious. So if you get them quite close to the top, just 1 on one side and 1 on the other. And the other thing that I like saying is like, for you, you know? So like maybe that wasn't enjoyable for you, or maybe that wasn't like the best fit for you, you know? And I've been saying that with my kids as well. Because just because they don't like it doesn't mean it's gross for everyone. Some people, you know, some people like that stuff. I actually quite enjoy doing the leaves this way. Let's do a little fake leaf hiding from behind here. Oh, she sent a picture in the chat. So if you guys don't know, I do a Barmy Fox group chat. It's £3 a month. And we need to go back on the lives and teams and stuff because we did do some before. And I haven't for a while. But we need to get back on that. Oh, I thought there was a knot, but there wasn't. So we'll schedule some of those. I'm just doing the schedule, my own personal schedule, like with ideas and like if I did mail club or if I did whatever, what would it look like? Up until March. So like from now until March. Okay. So this part I didn't really add in. So you can kind of add in as many of these as you want to. Because when I went to go draw mine in, it was too dark. But the good thing about this is that you can really like make it up. And it won't be a big deal. Also, we're going to do the stems of the blue flowers tonight as well. The daisies are all 3 strands, yes. And these leaves are also 3 strands. Right. What are your plans and ideas for Christmas and Advent? I actually got quite a few emails about this, and I've been trying to make it work so bad with doing an advent calendar, but most of you already know, because most of you have gotten an advent calendar from me before. I normally launch it in like May because kind of June the latest, because people like to have payment plans. But with the tariffs, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do a big box like that, because I'm pretty sure it's going up from 10 to 15% because of that 90-day whatever tariff thing. I have to read up on it if I'm honest. And then they're introducing more tariffs as well. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be similar to who just did it? The EU? Where you have to pay an additional fee for every different kind of HS code. So for long story short, for real, okay? Not like the other days when I told you my life story. The HS codes are for businesses, and they have to do with taxes. So if I were to send you a needle has its own HS code. If I were to send you scissors, they have their own HS code. If I were to send you thread, it's got a separate one. If I were to send you a notebook or a postcard, they both have separate ones. And so the EU have just done a thing where every single separate HS code is an additional €3 tariff on top of the tariff for the product. So they've got a specific number for the cost of the product, okay? But then every single individual HS tariff code, you have to pay €3 on top of that. So if I send you a needle, scissors, thread, and a notebook, that's €3 times 4. That's €12 also to pay. Does that make sense? So I read in one of the forum things that they were thinking about doing something like that. I hope that they don't, because that would be such... that would be terrible. I'm just going to do one of these other ones here with the Lazy Daisies, okay? So that's why a lot of small businesses now are not going to ship to the EU anymore. And a lot of people turned on EU shipping just recently, after they got all of their websites sorted and everything. And then now they've turned it off again, because even though, yes, like the buyer has to pay that, it is too much. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to get needles from me and, 2 things of thread and maybe a notebook, and I don't even sell notebooks, but you know what I mean? Just sticking with the plan, and a pair of scissors, the total of that order might be only, I don't know, €12 or €10. You know what I mean? Because think about it, thread's not very expensive. A notebook is like what, £7 or something, or $7, €7. Let's just say that. And scissors are maybe 5, 10, maybe, depending on where you get them. So, I mean, based on that, we're at 17. Then thread is, say someone's selling it for €2 a skein. So there's 2 skeins in there. That's, you're at 20 now, say, plus a needle, which is not very much at all. So then you're paying €20 plus a tariff. Okay. Plus €12 on top of that, because you got 4 different things. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Because obviously it's absolute batshit crazy. But yeah, isn't it? It's wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me. And it makes me feel like, who's going to be buying from out of the country anymore? You know? Why would you ever buy something from a different country? And then there's meant to be, which some people actually do it and some people do not. There's also an origin tax. So, for example, if I send you something I got from China, say I bought something on Amazon, okay? and it's made in China. Just anything. I don't even know what I would be sending you that's made in China. But say that I bought something that was made in China and I sold it in my store. But I'm sending it to you. I also have to pay an origin tax because goods from China are taxed at a higher rate than goods from England. And this good is originally from China. So some people are getting really, really, really specific with like what exactly they are like stocking in their shops, and taking out some things because, why is that not down? Because why? You know, it doesn't make it, you know, cheaper anymore. And lots of people who are manufacture things like clothing maybe from China or whatever, I don't know, whatever. Like there's some pins some people get. There's a big pin designer, you know, like those enamel pins. I know a couple makers who get them like made in bulk from there. There's some scissor manufacturers also from China. And yeah, it makes it so that like you it's not worth it, you know? So those are kind of the two different kinds. Sorry to change, but those are kind of like the two different kinds of leaves that I tend to do a lot. So either something like this with the loops, the detached chain stitches, 3 strands, and this is also 3 strands. So I've just done the same hole at the bottom, like you saw, and then we did just 3 stitches, kind of 1 down the middle and then 1 to each side, but all going down that same hole like that. So I think it looks really quite sweet both ways, and you can mix them up. You don't have to do them all one way or all the other way, you know what I mean? You can also add more things in if you want to. If you wanted to add some little French knots at the end, we're going to do the French knot one, or if you wanted to add some more leaves, something like that, obviously you can. So yeah, it's making a lot of people, back to the tariff thing, think about what they're actually going to be selling. And a lot of people, small businesses, have decided that they just can't. Oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure I just did the wrong color on the wrong thing. I think that was supposed to be the darker color, wasn't it? And I was too busy yapping to sort it out. Well, that won't look bad, will it? No, that'll be cute. Okay, we continue. All right, so now we're just going to do some little stitches for the rest of the boop. You can add another green or you can just use the same color green. It's completely up to you and how separate you want them to look. Obviously, the more colors, I feel it makes it look a little bit more organic, and it separates them a little bit better, but we've only got 4 stems here, and then we've got these little 3 stems to do too. So if you want to introduce a 3rd color, you can, or you can just kind of see how it goes and do it that way. Yeah. Okay, so advent calendar. My plan was to do a kind of summer camp, but for Christmas, and make it about making gifts for people. Okay, so I'm thinking November. It's just so wrong because I personally want to support your small business 100%, but I feel like we and you are being punished by these new things. Yeah, it does make it hard because I totally get it. Do you know what I mean? If I were buying from me, I wouldn't be able to, you know, because like the cost of living has gone up so much, but then also you want to have fun things and you want to have things that support your own mental health, like stitching, or the community aspect, like the Stitchalongs, where you can come and chat and find like-minded people, things like that. But then it makes it so that if you do buy a physical product, the shipping is astronomical. I mean, the boxes that I sent you, I think that was 10 or 11 pounds. No, sorry, dollars. And I remember last year it was not that much for a similar sized package when I sent out those do you remember the wooden hanging things, you know, the wooden magnetic hanging things for our stitch along that we did? Right, I'm going to do a little stem stitch coming down here. I'm going to stitch right over top of this thing that we've done right here, okay? I'm getting too chatty. And I'm going to do a stem stitch, like I said. So the same premise as the outside of that, but I'm going to make them quite long. So the longer you make your stitches with stem stitch, the less twisty they're going to look. The shorter that you make them, the more rope-like they're going to look. So it depends on how you like it. So I like to put the loop on the hump, but this is pretty, straight. So they can really go either way. And then we're just going to come down a bit farther. We kind of want our stitches to be about the same length, like this. We want them to be offset like that on the same line, okay? But yeah, I asked the lady at the counter, I said, if I would have packaged these different, would it have been cheaper? And she was like, no, that's literally the weight that it was and, what's inside. And so I told her what was inside and she's like, no, it'd have to be the same. Okay. And this is also something that I like doing. So I didn't do it at the beginning so you can kind of see what it's like. So when you start the stem stitch, you start it and then you do your next stitch as a half, kind of you go forward half. Yeah. Because it has to be offset like that. But that leaves this space here from the beginning of your stitching to the first offset stitch. It makes it be a little half. It makes it a little half. There's only kind of 3 strands here. Yeah. Whereas the rest of it is in effect 6 because you're kind of doubling up on that area. So you've got 3 strands here and 3 strands here, and then you kind of put them together. It almost looks like 6. So oftentimes when I start my stem stitch, I will start my stem stitch with a little half stitch. Okay, so, oh, go away. Guys, oh my gosh. I'm not even afraid of flies. It's just the shock when it all of a sudden appears and you weren't expecting it. Do you know what I mean? What a little whim. Yeah, so oftentimes I'll do a little half stitch. And you see how it kind of fills in that whole space? It makes it look a little bit more uniform. Yeah? So I do like to kind of do that. And then on each side of here, we have a little leaf, okay? And what I like to do here is do kind of the same as those other ones. Go away. Yeah, tuck it right in. One right down the middle. You wouldn't like Australia then. We have a bazillion flies. Do you know what? I don't mind the flies. I really don't. But I really was not expecting one in this room with me right now. But my biggest thing is spiders. I do not like spiders. I don't like spiders at all. So I've been actually dying to go to Australia. I would love to go to Australia. But the spiders, I don't know, man. They freak me out. So I'm doing exactly the same as these ones. One down the middle, one to each side, just a little bit lower. We have loads of them too. Oh. And then I kind of stop when I'm happy with the shape of it. Okay? So you can do one on either side. You can do 2 on that side if you want. And I'm literally just... They're okay. You would love it. Oh. I don't know what it is. I think it's because they move so fast. And all of a sudden they're there. And then all of a sudden they're not. And you're like, oh my God. I'm just not. But I would absolutely love to go. We actually have family there. I think they're in Melbourne. And I'm gonna do one. One on this side. Yeah, it's my husband's side of the family, so the McNutter side. But basically there's 3 brothers, and one of the brothers went out to Australia on their, when they used to have that kind of like a work visa type thing, you know? And then or the ones that chase you down there, yeah. And he ended up staying, and then he's got 2 sons, I think. I'm just gonna continue doing this. What I like to do for the woven wagon wheel roses, for these ones, I'm gonna do just a nice straight stitch up. Okay, another one right next to it. You can add some leaves if you want to, but I like doing a little thing at the bottom, right underneath the rose part. You can either do a straight stitch, or you can do a little detached chain stitch on each side. But I think it looks so sweet to have a little kind of like green poking out. We have to come out one day for sure. They don't chase you. But yeah. But David went to go visit them when he was younger. I think there was a wedding or something they went to. Like, how cute is that? A little just underneath. Yeah. And then we'll do the same thing with the rest of them as well. So there we go. So by the end, you should have all the flowers done and then all of the leaves done. And then we've got these 2 little leaves at the top. If you'd like to leave them blank, you can. They're very small. The plan was to do them like that, but I might just show you the fishbone as well, just because they're so tiny and they won't take very long. But I'm still trying to make sure. We might do it on like details day, you know, with French knots and stuff. But yeah, you should be able to do all the rest of them except the centers, because we'll do French knots for those. And then, yeah, tomorrow we'll crack on with the rest. So how pretty is that going to look? I think it's going to look so nice. So let's just zoom out. And that's what it looks like. Obviously yours will be all done though. So yeah, for the advent calendar, I'm not going to do one this year, but I'm going to do a kind of summer camp-esque thing. I'm just seeing if anyone else would like to do any sessions with me and teach any of it. We'll see what we can come up with, but I'm thinking of things that you could give as gifts. Think like name tags, or like stockings, or like a tree skirt, or think like stick and stitch designs you could put on like wristlets. Obviously we have to do some felt ornaments, because obviously, but perhaps adding sequins and beads as well could be super fun. I've got like a whole list. It's a very long list, but I've got a whole list of like possible things. But I'm thinking it might be like the first 3 weeks of November, but only Monday to Friday. So it would be 15 days in total. And then you'd have Saturday and Sunday off. So you could like do whatever you want, obviously. But it's such a busy time. But that way you would have so many gifts made in November for Christmas in December. I don't know. I'm really nervous about it, because honestly, the advent calendar was a very big seller. And if I don't replace it with something, I'm genuinely going to lose a lot of money. But at the same time, I don't know if we can justify doing one with the state of everything, you know? All of that. So there we go. I'm going to love you and leave you. I'll see you tomorrow, where we'll do a little bit more. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on all of that. The kids are sleeping, so hopefully they still are. All right, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye.